Okay, it is recording now, so now we can get started. So I want to first of all thank everybody for being here and attending this training for South Coast Air Quality Management District. And for right now, I would, before we lose Mike, I want Mike to make his comments about the group.
We love this group. Okay, I'm done. No, I'm kidding. Guys, AQMD has been a Colonial client for somewhere between 6 and 8 years. I don't remember the exact number. Last year, Rick Sutherland met with Bill Richards, and they discussed the services of core enrollments and how that could positively affect employees' levels of understanding and education about the process, plus tying in all of the services of signing off on ACA notices, et cetera. When Rick left, Susie and I took over the case. We met with Bill and Raquel, and it was one of the first things they asked about is if we could still do that because it was very important to them. So the answer was clearly yes. That's the reason we're here today. And I'll just kind of wrap up my comments by saying they're a great client, 700 lives, wonderful people to work with, and I'm not pandering to the audience. I really mean that. They've been great. Alliant is their broker for medical, dental, and vision, and their representatives have been awesome to work with as we put all this together. So same request that I always make, please work hard to make sure this is the most positive enrollment experience that any employee could ever have. And that's all I ask, as I always do. Andrea, I'm going to hand it back to you.
Okay, and I just want to check if Dana or Bill are listening, if either one of you want to say anything about the group before we continue.
No, this is Dana. I am with Alliant, and we are actually fairly new to the group ourselves and are really looking forward to working with Colonial and getting to know the group alongside you guys and making sure this is a positive first open enrollment for us and the client as well. So thank you guys.
Thank you. And then Susie, since you've been working closely with the group, did you have any comments that you wanted to start off with before we jump into the training?
No, just reiterating what Mike said. They're such nice people, and they're really excited to, they seem to be really excited to have us doing the one-on-ones this year, which we have not done the core enrollment in the past, so they're excited about it.
Great. All right, everybody. Well, then we'll just start right in with the training on the. I sent everybody the guide, and I've actually sent it out twice because I realized the first guide I forgot to put the quote by plan codes in for the one plan that we got to do quote by plan code on Medical Bridge. So, and I know after we finish this call, there'll be more comments and more information I need to add to the guide. So, like I said, don't print anything until you receive the final copy. One of the first things that's written in the guide after it tells about the type of enrollment is be sure to download Harmony offline. And as you all witnessed from today, that's really important because there were many benefit counselors that I got calls from on groups that weren't able to do anything today because they didn't get around to downloading offline. And in the morning time, it was too late. So as soon as I send you the email that when the database is complete, I would go ahead and download it. And even if I do make any updates, you can always update your offline. So download it so if this situation occurs that occurred today, you would be able to continue on with the enrollment. First of all, I'm just going to go do a brief, quick overview. We're going to go more in depth in the plans later, but like it's already been mentioned, we're going to be enrolling their medical insurance, and they have 5 medical plans that the employees can choose from. These plans are continuing the same, so I have the database set to carry forward and recalculate. So it will recalculate the premiums, the new premiums for this year. But the one thing that does not carry forward are dependents. So if an employee has the dependents that they're covering, you must still open up the benefit and add the dependents so that the dependents carry forward. So they have 3 Blue Shield plans, an HMO, a PPO, and an HSA plan, and they have 2 Kaiser plans, an HMO and a HSA plan. And then the dental insurance is the same dental insurance. They have 5 dental plans, the same plans as last year, so they're also set to carry forward and recalculate. Just very quickly, if you have background noise, hit *6 and mute for a little bit while we go over stuff, and then when you want to talk, you can unmute yourself. There are 2 dental plans that do not have ortho. They $25 deductible. One is a $1,500 max, and one is a $2,000 max. And then there's 2 dental plans that have ortho for children. $50 deductible, a $1,500 max and a $2,000 max, and then they have the HMO, the Delta Care HMO. Now, dental and vision, the employees must enroll in them. There's no option, so there's not going to be an option for the employees to decline because they have to enroll.
The dental, I want to say the vision is optional.
Yeah. I haven't got there yet. I was just talking about medical and dental right now.
I thought
medical and dental.
Okay, I thought you just said dental and vision.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant medical and dental. If I did say that, I was wrong. Okay, medical and dental. Sorry. Yeah, medical and dental are meant. They have to enroll in medical and dental, so there is no option to waive because they have to enroll in them. And then the vision is medical eye services vision, and that is optional. So they don't have to enroll in vision if they don't want to. Then there's a basic life plan, either a 5,000 plan or a 10,000 plan, depending on their employee class or union, and that is mandatory as well for the employees to enroll in. So there won't be an option to waive. And then there'll be FSAs available through RageWorks, and they've had FSAs before. They have the healthcare FSA and the dependent care FSA. And the one FSA that they were missing in the past was the limited healthcare FSA, because they do have the HSA compatible plans, and they can through their bank or through the, they can sign up for an health savings account, and anybody who has a health savings account, as you know, cannot also participate in a healthcare FSA. So we'll talk a little bit more.
Oh, you'll talk more. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So this was just the overview section so that everybody could hear that what we're going to be enrolling in. And so those are the plans that we're going to be enrolling in this enrollment. They do have a few other life insurance plans. I can't remember what the company is. Dana, what's the company? And those are going to enroll separately on paper if they want it.
Yeah.
Voya.
Voya.
That's it. Yeah. So any if any employee mentions about the life insurances, and if you read and I'll pull that up in a little bit. I'll pull up the benefit guide when we get to their benefit booklet. That's when we'll go more in depth in the plan. But this is just a brief overview right here. Okay, and then like we always do with Dana, with this group, did they have to fill out the Blue Shield or the Kaiser enrollment form, paper enrollment form, or are they going to be able to take our electronic information?
Well, Blue Shield definitely, and Kaiser, I think they're going to have to fill out the form. Okay. And I think that the HR, Raquel, is unfortunately going to have to enter that.
Yeah, because Kaiser is difficult. Okay, so so for the employee, and how about Delta? Will Delta take the electronic, or do they have to fill out a Delta form if they make changes?
Yeah, they'll take the electronic. It was really just Kaiser and then the Voya plan.
Yeah. Okay, so Kaiser is going to be, anybody who's on Kaiser who's going to make a change, they'll have to fill out the Kaiser application form, change form, and those will be available. They'll have them where you're going to be setting up and enrolling, so they'll be available there. But luckily, Blue Shield and Delta will take our electronic changes that we get over to them. Dana's been very kind in getting me the templates. Kaiser's been not so easy. And then that Voya Life Insurance, they'll have to, since we're not doing that in our system, they will have to enroll on paper for those as well, and they'll be available where all the benefit counselors are set up. Susie, would you be able to show all the benefit counselors when they're there where all the materials are?
All right, yes, I will.
Okay, okay, thank you. I was listening to the background singing that somebody has.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, all righty, and so then all the, so most of the applications are self-explanatory, but be sure that you double check what an employee fills out with the Kaiser form so that they don't forget any signatures. Now we are going to be conducting a dependent audit, so all employees have to read the dependent verification handout and they have to sign off in Harmony, but Bill has also provided a hard copy of that dependent eligibility form, and so to be safe and just for South Coast air quality, we will, capture that information for the group as well. And so just be prepared. Have one of those printed out. I did send to everybody so that you can hand it to the employee when they're sitting with you when you get to that statement, and make sure that they've read it so they understand what eligible dependents include. They're trying to just clean up the dependents that are enrolled on this system. Kaiser also has...
It's Mike. Hey,
yeah.
Can I jump in real quickly? Okay, so this is an area that we've done many times. We just need to be sensitive to this being new to AQMD, and there might be some fear. We see people kind of go, well, what does this mean? Why are they doing this, etc. And so just use the answers we've always used. It's the company is maintaining compliance with Sarbanes-Oxley Act by not spending money on benefits or anything else that's not legitimate expense, and also controlling costs. No one is being asked for marriage certificates, birth certificates, etc. And if the questions go deeper than you feel comfortable with, then the best thing to do is to direct them to the HR department and not put yourself as in the position of being an HR representative. Just wanted to remind everybody, because sometimes people get a little fearful, they don't quite understand it, etc. So back to you, Andrea.
Yeah, and if you're on your computer, I just put up what the affidavit looks like that Bill has created, and they've gone to their legal department. They've been everywhere, just being sure that they have everything included that they need, and they just want all employees to read what the list of eligible dependents is, and that they understand what that is, and up to age 26, and what constitutes a child that they can cover on their plan, and then they are going to certify that all their information is correct to the best of their knowledge. So it's just like Mike said, it's standard what we've done for other groups, but like Mike said, it's the first time for this group, so we want to capture all these. Since we're sitting with everybody, we're going to be able to get this information from every employee for them in a timely manner, so that they have all this in their file that they have on dependent audits. So we just ask your assistance in getting this done. Excuse me. And I just received this today, so I don't have the dependent audit in Harmony yet, but Harmony was down. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have all these audit affidavits in the database, and it will be complete. Now, Kaiser also has arbitration form that has to be signed. So they have a arbitration agreement form, as you can see here. I'm going to try to get this in so that it's available. So anybody who gets Kaiser, they have to sign off with the arbitration agreement form. So, like Dana's mentioned and I've mentioned, Kaiser's has had difficult. But they do have good plans, so they're lucky that they have that choice. All right, so back real quick to the guide, and as soon as I finish going through the guide, I'm going to open up the benefit book that all the employees have access to. And this year, it's my understanding that they have of the guide. Their benefit book is available to them via email, so they have a lot of electronic resources, and so any employee, they can print it if they want to. They're just not giving a benefit booklet and handing it out to every employee, because everything, this is the electronic age, everything is available electronically.
Andrea,
we also, yes, sure.
I think the benefit booklet is the one they had for the 2015 plan year, because we hadn't finalized the 2016 one yet.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. So just be aware of that. We might have an updated one before open enrollment starts.
Okay. And I sent to everybody the link to the UVille site for this for South Coast Air Quality, and I recommend that you all go look on the UVille site, because this is what we've been sending employees to look at. There is the link to the I think it was at 40 minutes, Mike, the group meeting presentation, I've been told is posted there. So it would be good for you all to go listen to it so you can see what the employees have heard. All our docs are on there. And the benefit book is there. So please go look at it so you can see if an employee sits down with you and mentions what they've seen on the UVille link, that you're familiar with it. So I'd appreciate if everybody went ahead and did that. Now, this group, we have they have defined contributions or benefit bank, and every employee that was in the census has the appropriate benefit bank amount that's allotted to them. They have differing amounts depending on which bargaining unit they belong to. And then differing bargaining units also have an additional employer contribution towards medical and or dental. And so it's very important that, and I already have this set up, so if there is anybody new that you end up having to add to the database, that you've gotten permission from Raquel, the plan administrator, let me know so I can tell you which classification and how to set it up so that they have the correct amounts that pull for them, so that there won't be any mistakes in their benefits. The benefit bank can be used on any of the benefits. The medical benefits, the dental benefits, the vision benefits, the FSA, the HSA. Raquel said they can use it on colonial benefits. They can use it on any of the benefits that they have, and whatever they don't use, they can, if they don't forfeit it, they get that amount in a check. So they do. Some employees, like to steer towards the less expensive plan, so they have some money that they get added to their paycheck that they don't use. So this is not a benefit bank that is forfeited, but it can be used on any benefits that they want to use it on. And they do have to use their benefit bank on especially medical and dental and that basic life. They won't be allowed to waive those three. Any other benefits, they have the option of not purchasing. So let's see. Let's see. Let me finish with the colonial benefits real quick, and then I want to go to their benefit book and go over their core benefits. There are, Wayne has given us Peggy on the disability for every employee, not just new hires for this enrollment, for up to $4,000, 6 months and 12 months, no 24 months. And I've already told you that there's 2 medical bridge plans, a level, plan 1, level 1 is level 1 and 2 is set up in Harmony, the HSA compliant plan for those that have the HSA medical plans, and then the other plan, plan 2, level 1 and 2, option 1 is quote by plan code. I have the quotes here, and I sent everybody the premium, so you have the premium so that it'll be easy for you. We do want to be everybody to be the same, and so everybody should already have, you're familiar with the materials that you need to give to the employees when they sit down with you. So be sure you have folders, not envelopes, and that you have your business card and the brochures for the plans that we're offering, so that you can put in their folders, their brochures for any plans that they get, the service guide, the request for service form, all the normal forms that we like to give to the employees. And of course, the post-enrollment survey, be sure that you give that to all employees as well, and direct them to turn it into HR, not to you. And you have the schedule's already been sent to you, the days that you're enrolling and the time frame that you're going to be there. And then each day, I think, Susie, are you going to give them the schedule for each day of who's signed up?
Yeah.
Because we used an online scheduler for this group, and so the employees have been scheduling themselves into time slots. And Raquel mentioned it was sort of cool when she went on and was able to watch the slots being filled as the employees went in and signed up. And Susie's been in charge of that. Did you want to say anything about that, Susie?
Well, we're just, we'll have a schedule every morning, and they're not being too quick. We've got about 100 people so far signed up. We've got a lot more to go, and I just talked to Raquel about that, so they're sending out another email about it. And there's a benefit fair on Wednesday the 7th, and Raquel and Bill both will be there and getting people to make appointments. So, but everybody's got to be seen, so we'll get it squared away. I do have some, I have it scheduled like where somebody, like when Ron's groups are going, and there's always a couple people for walk-ins and so forth. So I'll know more on Friday, but we'll see what happens this first week. I'm not sure. This is the first time these people have ever done anything like this, and so it's very unusual for them, and I don't know that everybody necessarily likes it, but they'll get used to it. So the first couple of days we're going to see what happens, but in any event, we do have enrollments or appointments scheduled, and so hopefully we'll keep everybody busy. Everybody's going to be busy. It's just the first couple of days. I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll figure it out.
Okay. All right, and then of course the effective date for everything is January 1st, but we're enrolling now, and we're not going to keep the enrollment open till the end of the year. We're trying to gear everybody to have their enrollment complete by like October 23rd. Okay, now our Colonial products. So this group has been in place for a long time, so all the products are on the menu. We have accident plan available, the preferred or premier with health, and the off-the-job spouse disability rider. And like I already mentioned, the disability 1000 is available with Peggy up to 4,000. Once you go past 4,000, of course, all the questions come into play. We have cancers plans 3 and 4 for the critical illness, the subsequent diagnosis, and health, the term life, the whole life, and the universal life, and then the 2 medical bridge plans. Susie, there was something that you wanted to mention about life insurance?
Yes, and we can go over it on Monday as well. But there are four. Right now, there are three ways that they can get life insurance. They can sign up for the VOIA, which used to be called ING, and it is a group voluntary term life, and it's the typical where it increases every 5 years. There's a benefit reduction at age 65 and age 70, so it's It's great because it's guaranteed issue up to $200,000 or two times their salary. But after the first year, or after they've already been guaranteed issued that 2 times their salary, if they want to increase, there's not an automatic increase. They have to answer medical questions. So for somebody who has a health issue, it's a good idea. What AQMD has done in the past couple of years is, if somebody is looking, they can enroll through Banner Life, which is, let me back up. Let's say this, for policy, if they're not going to do the VOIA, for policies, let's say under $100,000, if somebody wants a payroll deducted, they can get Colonial, they can do a term, they can do a universal, they can do a whole life. But what AQMD does for policies over $100,000, if it's not going to be that voluntary term life, since the rates increase, they can get a policy through Banner. And people are aware of this, and we're going to talk about it at the group meeting. So for Colonial Life plans, they're $100,000 and below. If somebody wants a bigger policy, then they need to go through Banner Life. It's not payroll deducted. They direct bill them. And if somebody asks about Banner and they're not going to do the Colonial Life policy, then just get their name and number. If I'm around, I will speak with them, but otherwise I will get back with them. I know that's confusing. It's just different than what we normally do, but they started this Banner at AQMD a couple years ago, so we're going to go with it.
Okay.
Is that clear as mud?
Does anybody have any questions about that? Any questions on the Colonial plan?
Just guess the bottom line is, if somebody wants something $100,000 and below, that's fine. But if they want to go higher, and if they ask about Banner, just get their name and number, and a separate policy will be applied for that person. Period.
Everybody understand?
I got a question real quick. This is Elton. Is the VOIA Life portable?
It is portable, but it's still got a benefit reduction, and it's still going to increase every 5 years. So it really, I mean, it's great for, like I said, for somebody who has a health issue, but as somebody's getting older, it just doesn't seem to make much sense. So somebody may want a smaller permanent with Colonial, let's say a UL, or if they can do it, maybe a 20-year with Colonial. But otherwise, what people have been doing there is getting off the VOIA as they get older and getting a Banner policy. But they can go either way. They can do Banner, they can do Colonial. Just depends on the amount.
Okay. Well, I've pulled up the benefit booklet now, and so we're going to go over the core plans.
Do you have the screen open, Andrea? I don't see anything.
Yeah, I do.
I don't see anything. It says waiting for Mike McCary's screen.
No,
there you go. I got it now. Oops, it just went off again.
I don't have it either. This is Siobhan.
There it is.
Is it going? Is it there now?
Yes.
Sorry, guys. It was highlighted before. All right. So like Dana mentioned, there's still the final 2016 benefit booklet is not quite ready. It should almost be ready, but they haven't had a whole lot of changes. Dana, is there anything that you want to share on the medical plans?
Oh gosh.
I mean,
well,
I have the Blue Shield pulled up right now. They have the
right.
HMO, then you have the PPO, and then the HSA.
Right. So I don't know how much detail that you normally go through, but yes, they do have the Blue Shield plans, HMO, traditional PPO, and then the PS, what they call preferred savings, or PSP, high deductible health plan. The new booklet is going to say PSP in parentheses HDHP to avoid confusion, just so you're aware. And that might look a little different for the employees when they're looking at their new booklet. It's the same plan. They just when talking to Bill, we decided to change it to HDHP.
Okay. And they do have quite a few people that are on the HSA plan.
Right. And
I think a lot
go ahead.
I think a lot of it has to do, because they have their defined contribution, their benefit bank, and whatever they don't spend, they can keep. So I think a lot of employees like that option, and so this is
exactly.
a lesser expensive plan.
Right, exactly. The thing that's changing this year is last year, or up until now, they haven't had a health savings account sponsored through SCAQMD. So if they wanted to open a health savings account, they would have had to open it themselves and not take payroll deductions, but put money in and take a deduction at the end of the year when they file their taxes. So this year, they will be able to open an HSA through Health Equity and get those payroll deductions directly from the paychecks. There is no contribution into the health savings account, though. I just want to point that out.
Right, but they can use their their benefit bank, their defined contributions on it. No, because Raquel said they could use it on anything.
Well, I mean, they get that money in their paycheck, so if they're like putting money away into that health savings account, then it's kind of neither here nor there. They're just putting money, they're taking deductions into the paycheck. But if they're not really taking physically that money and putting it in the health savings account, I don't know that would be, if it was set aside like that. It doesn't matter. They get that money in their paycheck, any money that they don't use from their benefit cap, and so how they use their paycheck is their thing.
Okay. Well, should I leave the health savings account set up to deduct from their defined contribution or not, or should I have it set up not to deduct from it?
I guess I don't know what you mean by deduct from.
Hello, this is Bill Richards.
Oh, hi, Bill.
Hi. I would not have it set up where it has to come directly from the benefit cap. Have it set up where it just comes from their regular pay. But it would still be pre-tax dollars, right?
Yes, it'll still be pre-tax dollars.
Yeah, that would be fine because many people, it's not going to be that much of a cash back where it would, be contributing to that.
Okay, that's how we'll set it up then. Thank you. I'm glad you were listening so you could jump in and clear it up for us.
Me too.
Okay, all right. So the let's see. I'm trying to get back to where there we go. So for the plans, the HMO plan doesn't have a calendar year deductible, and the out-of-pocket max is $1,000 per person, $2,000 max for families, $10 copay for office visits, $50 copay for emergency room. Sounds like a nice plan.
Yeah.
Outpatient hospital service is $50 per surgery and no charge for the hospital. If that's somebody that needed to, or just background noise, okay. Then the PPO plan does have a calendar year deductible, $250 a person, $500 a family. Their out-of-pocket max with the preferred providers is $1,000 a person and $2,000 for the family. They also just have a $10 copay for the office visits, a $75 copay for the emergency room, $10 copay for urgent care. The outpatient hospital service, the plan pays 90% after the deductible, and the same for the hospital, so nice plan as well. And then their high deductible plan, their HSA, of course, has a higher calendar year deductible, $2,250 a person, $4,500 for a family, $3,000 out-of-pocket max per person, and $5,500 for the family.
And I just wanted to point out, and you guys probably already know this, but with a high deductible health plan, those deductibles, if an employee enrolls one or more members of their family, that deductible is a family deductible. So either one or all of them will be contributing to that deductible, rather than each individual meeting the individual deductible. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. And then the plan pays 80% after the deductible for office visits. Now, do they have to satisfy both the calendar year deductible and the out-of-pocket max before they're done with their expenses, or does the calendar year deductible count as part of the out-of-pocket max?
The annual deductible counts towards the out-of-pocket max.
Okay.
But once they reach that out-of-pocket max, then they are done for the year.
Okay. And this is actually for a high deductible plan. It's not that high when you look at it.
The $2,250? Oh, well,
yeah.
The out-of-pocket max is incredibly low, really.
Low. It's $3,000. Yeah, $3,000 per person, $5,500 per family. So that's they have some nice plans here. And then you have then you have the two Kaiser plans. Kaiser, is pretty good plans as well. I know my husband and I are on Kaiser. We like Kaiser. The calendar year deductible for the HMO is none. The out-of-pocket max is $1,500 for an individual, and then $3,000 for a two or more. $10 copay for the office visit, $50 for the emergency room. The outpatient service, outpatient hospital service is $10 per procedure. I mean, and no charge for the hospital. And then they also have the HSA qualified plan, another high deductible plan, which is the calendar year deductible is $1,500 for one member, $3,000 for the family of two or more, and the out-of-pocket max is only $3,000 for one member, and $6,000 for the family. And then the plan pays 90% on everything else after the deductible is satisfied. So they have some very nice plans.
Yes.
So,
and the other thing, and you probably, I'm sorry, you probably already know this as well, but for a regular PPO plan, the prescriptions do not have to meet the medical deductible, but on the high deductible health plans, they do have to meet the medical deductible before the copays kick in. Okay.
So everybody remember that, they have to meet the deductible before the prescriptions before they start doing the smaller amounts for the prescriptions on the high deductible plans.
Right.
Okay, then they have the dental plans. The 4 different options for PPO. Actually, they have the 2 that have the $25 deductible, but one of them has a $1,500 max, and one has a $2,000 max. And then it's the same thing.
Andrea, when I was putting together a presentation, I was going through this. I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I go through all of these different plans? They're only slightly different and only in certain areas. So the way I look at it is the benefits pay out between 80 and 85% for the basic services, the preventive care, etc. The differences lie in the deductible, the maximum benefit, whether they have orthodontia or not, and whether they have TMJ coverage. So some of them have varying, it might make it a little easier to kind of compartmentalize it if you know that those are the 3 real, when someone's trying to make a decision, those are the 4 things that they really want to take a look at.
And what's TMJ again?
Oh, that's that jaw.
That jaw stuff. Okay.
It's the jaw thing.
Yeah, the jaw thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Got it. So the ones that have
the
2,000 max cover TMJ. The $50 deductible plans are the ones that have child ortho, and then the $25 deductible plans are the ones with no ortho, and they also don't have TMJ, is what it looks like, correct?
Sure.
Sounds good. Okay. And then of course there's the dental HMO plan, which operates, I'm sure, like most HMO dental plans, where they have defined costs for different services, and they got to consult the schedule of benefits.
Yep. Yeah, that's always important to just consult those schedule of benefits. The one thing that's different with the orthodontia on this is that adults and dependents are covered.
Okay, so if there's an employee that's considering orthodontia for themselves, you might want to go for the HMO dental plan.
Right, that's the only plan that has the adult orthodontia.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on any of the medical or dental plans?
It's Mike. I wanted to pop something in. So, Andrea, if you would, make sure the benefit counselors are given the YouTube link to the group meeting video that Dana and I recorded yesterday. And that way they can see all the slides. They can hear that information a second time. They don't need the colonial part, of course, but they can. The core is done first, and they can hear Dana explain in pretty good detail all the different core plans that are available for the employees. So it's a nice resource for them.
Okay. And it's also on their UVille site, but I'll send the link out to all of you with the slides as well, so that you have the option of doing it that way. And I would recommend, like Mike said, to listen to it. It will clarify all the plans for you, more than they're being clarified now. And then there is the vision plan, which is it's through Blue Shield, and it's the MES plan. And so they, of course, would want to go through Blue Shield to find a MES network provider that they want to use it at. And then their exam, they can have an exam every 12 months, and it's covered 100% if they go to the MES network provider. They can get frames on this one every 12 months with a $130 allowance through the MES network provider. They can get lenses every 12 months that are covered 100%. And they can also, every 12 months, they can get contact lenses, and they have a $120 allowance for them as well. Can they get both lenses and contact lenses, or they have to decide between them?
I believe it's in lieu, contacts are in lieu of.
In lieu of that, yes.
Yeah, I want to double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's in lieu of.
Okay.
Yeah, my understanding is that it's in lieu of.
Yeah.
Okay, that's generally. All right, then real quick, I wanted to talk a little bit about the FSAs and the HSA, because now that they have the HSA available, you need to be sure that when you're assisting employees, that anybody who's going to elect to set up an HSA account, they have to get the limited FSA that only applies to dental and vision, not to medical, because they will use their HSA for their medical expenses.
And also the thing with that is if they have a spouse, their spouse also cannot participate in a full healthcare flexible spending account either.
Okay, so Dana has gotten us some additional information on HSAs and FSAs that I sent to you. I would read over it and prepare for it. If you have any questions, please call me. Mike, Dana, any one of us would gladly assist you to be sure that you're clear on the difference. Remember, with the FSA, it's the use it or lose it rule, that if they do not use up the money that they put into the account before the year, before the year is over, the letters keep mixing up in my head. SCAQMD. Do they do a grace period? Do they do the rollover?
They're doing the rollover. They're doing the rollover, so they can roll over up to $500 into the next plan year if they have it left over.
Okay. So they can do, so this one they can do that. They can roll over up to 500, and I'll add that to the guide as well. All right.
Andrea, this is Susie. I have a question for Dana. This is Susie.
Mm-hmm.
Dana, can you repeat? Hi. Can you repeat what you said? We were talking about the limited, and then you said something about the spouse cannot use the full something. Repeat that, please.
Right. So if a person on a high deductible health plan who contributes to an HSA has a spouse, that spouse also cannot have a healthcare FSA account. They would only be allowed a limited purpose FSA account. And that's even if they aren't on the high deductible plan with their that employee. If they're on a completely different plan, it still applies. So that's kind of
Thank you.
And for the healthcare FSA, the IRS limits the annual contributions to $25.50. So the max that they can put in each year is $25.50. And like it says here, you cannot, transfer funds from one FSA to the other. So once they set up their FSA and they put the funds in there, or they specify how much they want to put in annually, they do have access to that amount right away. But even as they're putting in throughout the year, and they, like with shares, they can roll over 500, but anything, if they decided to, do 1,500 and they only end up using 750, and then they can roll over, 500, on 500, but the rest of it they would lose. So it behooves them to try to figure out how much they think they're going to use and just put that amount in.
I have another question. Susie. Oh, go ahead,
Susie, and then it's Mike. I want to say something after.
Okay.
I want to add.
Okay. There are quite a few, I think several, I don't know about quite a few, but married couples working there. So they can, I just want to confirm, they can each have $25.50. Is that correct?
Yes, they can have two separate FSAs, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yes, they can each set up an FSA.
Yeah, where it differs is if they have a dependent care, and if they're filing separately and married filing separately, then they can only put in $2,500 each for the dependent daycare.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's max $5,000 annual if they're married for the dependent daycare.
Right.
And this is Mike. I wanted to add one more little layer to that conversation about, because it's a little confusing. I can see an employee sitting down and saying, "Well, no, wait a minute. I've got an HSA, and you're telling me that my wife, who works for the John Smith Roofing Company, can't do whatever she wants to do?" And the answer is she cannot. It's because it comes down to what's going to happen at tax time. And tax time, if the IRS audits them and finds out that he's participating in an FSA, in an HSA, and his wife has opened up a tax-advantaged flexible spending account for health care, they're going to get penalties. So there is no, and to be sure, there is no AQMD or John Smith Roofing Company FSA police that's going to find this out and send them to FSA jail. It's all going to come down if they ever get audited by the IRS. So it's best to just obey the law.
Right, and something that's different with HSAs, that FSAs, or the healthcare FSA, the participants are often asked to substantiate their claims if the administrator, needs proof that was indeed a qualified medical expense. But with HSAs, they don't need to do that. The HSAs, it is up to each participant and the IRS. That is between those two. The HSA itself, the banking institution, does not, or govern, what happens between you and the IRS. There's nobody that's going to say, is this really it, until it comes down to, the IRS auditing you. Does that make sense?
Okay. And then wage work they can either submit, expenses on a claim form, or they also have their WageWorks healthcare card, which they can use for claims. And WageWorks has, it looks like, this cool Easy Receipts mobile app where they can manage the benefits. They check for their balance, submit claims, and more. So remind all the employees about the various ways that they can submit claims. If they love paper, they can still submit paper claims. If they have their healthcare card, which I guess is like their debit card, right, Dana?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and then they have that mobile app. It says they can submit claims on that mobile app. So if they got a smartphone, they might want to get that mobile app.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then let's see. Oh, they don't have the HSA in this one, but okay. So HSAs are different in that. Let me go pull up the one that you sent on the HSA. Because you sent the HSA one sheet. Okay, here we go on the HSAs. So HSA in this year, they can submit. The contribution level is a little bit higher than the FSA. They can put in $33.50, or if they're a family, they can put in I guess it's $67.50 for in 2016. And the HSA money is money. When you have an HSA, you don't lose it. It's not use it or lose it. It earns interest. It's there. They can still use the money. It operates the same basically on the expenses that you can spend it on. It's basically almost the same expenses as a medical healthcare FSA, but you're just going to pay for it out of your HSA. But at least, you can elect as much the maximum tier, and you know that if you don't end up using it, it'll be available next year. You won't lose it. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about the HSA there, Dana?
Also, if they do try out the high deductible health plan and the HSA for a year, and they discover either they leave HMB and they don't go back into a high deductible health plan, or if they just decide to change back to one of the other plans, they still keep that money that's in their account, in their HSA account, and they can use that money towards qualified medical expenses, but they won't be able to contribute to it, because that's one of the stipulations. In order to open and contribute to an HSA, you have to be enrolled in a qualified high deductible health plan.
Now, is both the Blue Shield and the Kaiser plan, are both of them qualified health plans, so they can enroll in either of those plans, and then
correct,
and then be able to, So
right. So Health Equity is the HSA provider that they've chosen, and it's the partner of Blue Shield. So Blue Shield, anyone who's on Blue Shield, they're going to see a real seamless interaction between the HSA and their usage with their Blue Shield plan. In fact, they can actually control whether their bills are paid directly from the HSA account because they are integrated. But for Kaiser, the Kaiser folks still can enroll in the HSA and still get their payroll deduction, but it's not as integrated because it's not Kaiser's partner.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
But they'll still be able to use it on eligible expenses. Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Spen said, anybody who does opt to have a payroll deduction to set up on HSA, they still can get the FSA, but they can only get the FSA and spend it on dental and vision costs only. They won't be able to use any of their FSA money on medical eligible expenses. All the medical eligible expenses would have to be paid through from the HSA. Okay.
Right.
Let's see. I think that was it basically on the different all the plans that are going to be available. See, oh, here we go. Other than that, we're going to be doing in Harmony. Like it's already been mentioned, the Voya Life, they'll do paper enrollment forms, and they'll be available at the where you're going to be set up to do the enrollment. The The dependent audit forms will be there. Are you going to have the Kaiser arbitration forms there as well, Dana?
You know, I need to talk to you about that one because when I said that there was going to be forms for Kaiser forms, I don't know. I need to talk to you about that. I don't know. I don't want to confuse everybody.
Okay.
Because I know that files, they're not going to accept a file, but I want to figure out a better way. So maybe we can get back to them on that one.
Okay, so you may get a FAQ before the enrollment on Kaiser on how we're going to address Kaiser, any forms for Kaiser. Does anybody have any questions about the enrollment, about what we're going to be doing? And just want to remind you, to dress professional and be professional with everybody. Treat everybody, like you normally do, and we don't try to force people to buy any products. You just want to present what we have and let the employee decide and choose what works for them.
I have a question at Susie. Isn't there an internal form that we were going to be collecting from people just in general for HR, or did we already?
Well, they did have the one that they created that I think they decided they wanted to have the signature on for the, did I close it already? For the
I can speak to
dependent
that.
audit. There you
I
go.
can speak to that. Yeah.
Okay.
There was a universal enrollment form that, until this open enrollment being performed this way, was used so that the employee enrolled and everything, declined and signed it. Because of the method of electronic enrollment that we're using, we determined that we don't need to use that form at all.
Good.
And so it's not going to be necessary. Good question.
Right.
Thank you for bringing it up.
It may still be available, but not to this open enrollment.
Yes, and that's exactly.
So no worries.
They updated it, and it's going to be available should they ever need to, and all of that. You're dead on the money.
May I add something also? This is Bill.
Oh, please.
Yeah. I understand that we have the survey form for how the enrollment process went that will be completed, and then the employees are going to be asked to turn that in to HR when they leave. And then the other thing had to do with the dependent audit. When I don't think I intended, maybe I sent it over to start with, but really the dependent audit was supposed to be an electronic affidavit, correct?
Yes, okay, so they don't have to sign the hard copy because you got employee signature on it. So
I know.
So we're just going to collect that electronically then. Perfect.
Right. And the same with the other one that I sent over to you later that had to do with receiving the benefit guide and the disclosure.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So there we go. Let's see, back to the enrollment guide. I think that's, I got to the end of everything that I wanted to share. We talked about all the plans. We talked about the colonial. We talked about the enrollment and the scheduling. Does anybody have any questions?
Andrea, it's Raquel. I have a question. Will employees be verifying their address that we sent you in the report? Because we have a form for employees to update their address during open enrollment if we have the incorrect address. So how are we going to do that?
We will make, I will give all my benefit counselors, and I'll put this in the guide in big capital letters. Please have all employees verify their address and contact information so we can return an updated contact list and spreadsheet to Raquel, so Raquel can have updated information on all her employees.
Okay. That's perfect.
And so we'll capture all that electronically.
Okay, but will I know exactly out of all the employees which ones address were different than the report that I sent you, or not?
I will. I will add a statement that they sign, that it will just be a quick yes, no, did I change my contact information, and will either be a yes, no answer, and then we'll know anybody who put yes that they made a change. So
Okay.
I'll add that to the database so that we'll know who made a change.
Yeah. Okay, and that way we can update that in people's option with Mass Mutual. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else anybody has to say? I thank everybody then for being here on this call and taking the time to go over this enrollment. And we thank you that you're committing the time for the about 3 weeks assist us with seeing all the employees over there at AQMD, SCAQMD. And we appreciate your time. And I thank you. And if anybody else doesn't have any other comments, I think we are done.
Cool.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.